Hey, I know I do these intros for every video, but please don't skip this one. It'll only be 60 seconds and it's super important. First of all, Happy New Year to everybody who is stuck with Dusklight through thick and thin, or if you're a new listener, I really appreciate you. I can't wait for a better 2026. Now, this is super important. This is the 10th chapter in my ongoing series. The playlist has been linked regularly in almost every video that we've done. It's also linked in the description below, and it should be on screen right now. If you start here and you haven't heard the other chapters, you are going to be very, very confused. Now, you could enjoy some aspects of this, like without knowing the context, but it would be a bit of a challenge. So please go and check out the first supercut, which is chapters 1 to 7, and be here Friday, which is going to be the next supercut of chapters 7 to 10. It's 7 hours of content on each one, with a mega cut of 1 to 10, which is like 15 hours, coming up in a week or two. That being said, I'm super proud of this chapter. Vidith did an amazing job. It's all come together really nicely. If you don't like this series, if you're not into this sort of thing, don't worry, we've got more content coming next week, and now I'm going on a small break, and so the rest of this week is going to be compilations. Sturgeon Stories You Can Binge and Sleep 2 Volume 4, Dusklight Through the Seasons, which is a video from every year we've done, and of course then the Mega Cut. I'll see you all on the weekend for some new stories. Thank you so much for your trust and enjoyment, and if you really enjoyed this and you want to show some support, maybe check out the Patreon. It's as little as $1 a month all the way up, and you get different things at different tiers. I try to make it as inclusive as I can, and those Patreon shoutouts and updates will be done on Friday's video with a fresh Blackwell skit, Blackwell mentions, and shoutouts. Thank you so much. That was not under 1 minute, I apologize, but it was still under 2. I'll see you all soon. Chapter 10. Choose Your Own Nightmare, Editions 2.1 and 2.2. Blurb. You're the star attraction of your own carnival, or maybe you're a soul trapped between realms. It's impossible to say. Choose from a possibility of 28 endings. Can you find the true path to stardom or to salvation? Presenting House of Songs, House of Lies by Beaufort Dion III. Adapted into audio by Dusklight Studios. Beware and warning. You are about to read a tale like no other. This is not your run-of-the-mill adventure book. No, this is something entirely different. For not only do you control the story, but in our desire to strive for excellency and unique content, we elected to try out a new formula. Choose your own nightmare. The scares will be aplenty, and some may chill you more than others. Only you can further this tale. Only you can decide how this ends. When all is said and done, you must live with the choices you make. Inside this tome are adventures, horrors, challenges, and vital choices with severe consequences for every decision you undertake. If you are reading this or hearing this, you are undoubtedly an individual of guile, skill, and cunning. These skills and more will be tested to their absolute limits in order to pass the trials within and come out in one piece. I should caution you, reader, one wrong move could end up splitting your soul in irreparable ways. This is the part where I tell you that you can go back and make another choice, isn't it? Well, not on this occasion. There is only forward. There is only the constant progression and the march towards inevitability. Should you fail, that is a permanent stain you cannot erase. It will engulf you until there is nothing left of you. There will be no second chances. The choice has already been made for you. Good luck. Your name is lost to you, but you know your title off by heart. The Great Creator. You are famous around the world for your ability to conjure anything from thin air, captivate audiences with your charisma, and seemingly twist reality itself with your skills. Crowds swarm you wherever you go, almost ravenous in their attempts to see your great tricks and sleight of hands techniques. Of course, they don't know your secret, that there is no sleight of hand or technique to your performances. You are a creator, though you don't know how this came to be. In fact, you could not recall a time before you were blessed with this technique. Much like the time before your very birth, it is a blank slate to you, absent of all senses, memories, and feelings. You just know the carnival, the dusklight circus, the ringmaster who recruited you, and the knowledge it has rolled into a brand new town called Dondella. Your final performance has been a rousing success. You were signing autographs late into the evening and fielding many curious questions until you retired to your trailer. But you did spot someone amongst the performance and waiting in the shadows, cloaked up to the nose and staring daggers at you. It perplexed you, and you felt a strange sensation overcome you as you retired to bed. That was your last memory before you awoke in the field adjacent to the carnival. It is dark, cold, and you are barely dressed as the autumn breeze brings with it an unforgiving chill that rattles your bones. The normally friendly stars twinkling above almost appear menacing as they pulsate ahead, the larger ones giving off a hum as you feel compelled to get to your feet. Little do you know that this simple motor function action would begin your journey and your nightmare. As you right yourself, you become painfully aware of two things. There is someone watching you, unseen but clearly nearby. There is a lone door situated in the field, a faint glow from beneath the crack. Do you 1. Inspect your surroundings for the intruder, or 2. Go towards the door? You have chosen option 2. You approach the strange, gilded door with trepidation. You sense that this is no ordinary door, but you do not wish to stay in the open for longer than is necessary. With every step you take towards the bizarre display, the bigger the door becomes. As if an optical illusion, not dissimilar to the sort in the Dusklight Circus's funhouse of illusory magic, you feel this once modest rectangular archway balloon into a looming structure towering over you, almost blotting out the brighter of the stars in the night sky. Your body begins to vibrate, and you hear a rustling from behind you. If you wish to open the door, choose option 1. However, if you wish to confront the rustling, choose option 2. With your breath quickening, you continue your approach to the door, the rustling growing in pace and aggression as your own body vibrates in a macabre synchronicity. You see bright lights emanating from the slit beneath the door, and upon approach, spy multiple handles of various shape, design, material, and placement across this grand entrance. Your heart rate doubles as you sense the rustling has ceased. You must make a choice. To grab the rusted lever handle, choose option 1. To turn the gilded doorknob, choose option 2. To pull the engraved magenta handle, choose option 3. You make your choice, pulling the engraved magenta handle as the door swings open, a plume of warm air hitting you in the face and the overwhelming brightness blinding you as your body is forcibly pulled through the archway and into this new, bizarre realm. Upon regaining your faculties, the sounds of heavenly choruses rain down on your ears, and a message finds its way into your mind. Directionless one, you have found your way to the House of Songs. Here, you will be tested. You may be aware that outside of this realm, something is hunting you. Who or what it is are things you will come to know in time. You have a journey to make. Ahead of you are several doors containing fractals of your life, allowing you to piece together the person you were, the person you are, and the person you wish to be. Discern the truth in the House of Songs from the deceit in the House of Lies, for should you get lost within the House of Lies or begin to acquiesce to its deceptive nature, you will remain forever lost. To that end, you have 3 choices, for there is always a choice. You may go straight to either a house of songs or lies, or you may wish to brave the threat looming overhead and find those doors for yourself in the real world. The voice sounds as if it is smiling as it speaks again. You have a beautiful gift, Manifester. We wish to see it realized to its fullest potential. Choose. If you choose a doorway to the House of Songs, choose option 1. If you choose a doorway to the House of Lies, choose option 2. If you choose a doorway to exit this place and to brave the horrors outside, choose option 3. With a nod of acknowledgement, you make your choice. In doing so, you step outside into the relative cold and gaze up at a sign in neon lights, the sounds of music and revelry in the distance. Welcome to Sturgeon's own Golgotha theme park. Bright lights, scents of cotton candy, popcorn, and the feeling of a warm summer's night flood your senses as the door closes behind you, leaving you to your faculties. You are positioned at the entrance. The ticket stand is empty, and not a single security guard in sight. In fact, despite the sounds of revelry and joy echoing on the soft breeze, you don't spy a single soul around you. The park is alive, but there is nobody inhabiting it. You feel something in your pocket and fish out a dog-eared map, faded print and well-worn but still legible. On it is a comprehensive diagram of the Golgotha theme park, broken into 4 distinct realms for you to explore: Medieval Madness, Adventurer's Cove, Scientific Spelunkers, and, most curiously, the Dusklight Circus. Your circus. Each one meticulously marked with symbols that you don't fully understand. With map in hand, you walk through the gate and stand in front of the signs. If you wish to go to Medieval Madness, choose option 1. If you wish to go to Adventurer's Cove, choose option 2. If you wish to go to Scientific Spelunkers, choose option 3. And if you wish to go to the Dusklight Circus, choose option 4. Clutching the map tightly and doing your best to ignore the creeping dread crawling up your spine that implies you're being watched, you make for the first stop on your trip, Adventurer's Cove. You pass through a large walkway, the built-in vendors shilling their trinkets, souvenirs, foods and oddities, all abandoned but their wares on full display. You think about grabbing a memento, but the sheer notion of stopping as your unseen accomplice is so close behind fills you with an extra boost of adrenaline, and you elect to pick up your pace, darting down a side alleyway and through an unlocked door just as you see their shadow filling the small space you've traversed. You did not realize until after you stepped through the threshold that you'd entered one of the special doors. But was it to the House of Songs or the House of Lies? We see a manor house, the furnishings screaming opulence, sophistication, aristocracy. All of it draped in that old money feel that comes from rural Western homes run by elders who claim it was always more challenging in their day, quick to dismiss your achievements whilst bolstering their own. You don't know why your mind went to such bitterness, but as you walk along the reception area and follow the sounds of conversation to the drawing room, you remember why. This is your home, and upon further inspection of the room, its occupants, and the conversation within, you know that it's roughly 20 years ago. The image not remotely faded, the words no less powerful, and the memory as clear as if you had an eidetic memory. There sits little you, handing something sheepishly to your parents and wringing your wrists in nervous anticipation of their reaction. 2 silhouettes cast upwards along the study you're all sat in, tall, hawkish, unforgiving in their looming stature. You cast your eyes around the room to see if their influence reaches as far as that of their owners, but in an instant you are brought back by the voice of your father, the king of this house.
What kind of ludicrous caricature of yourself is this, Bennett? Explain!
His intonation cuts through you like a well-thrown hatchet, cleaving your fragile composure in twain without any effort. You often wonder if he speaks this way to others, and as you gaze at your nervous mother, you gather that he does.
It's how I feel, Father. Inside, when I think on myself, the way the other boys around me behave, the way the girls act, I feel I don't fit in with either, to be truthful. Morgan said I might be an alien, but...
You trail off, picking at the skin on your thumbs. You hate when you do it, but your irascible father hates it more. He grabs your picking hand and squeezes it in his own gargantuan paw.
You will not dirty our floors, Bennett, nor will you dirty our lineage with this filthy habit. You are becoming a man. Act like one.
His words hiss in your face. You catch the scent of strong alcohol and mint on his breath. You could see your reflection in his bared teeth. You're scared. You're vulnerable. You are without help. He leans back and stands up, turning away from you and still clutching the drawing with shaking hands.
This is a sickness, Bennett. You are having delusions not dissimilar to that of others within our family history. It will either consume you or you can consume it, but I will not have it become your weakness that you show to the world and damage our name in the process.
He shows the drawing to your mother, a patient but distant woman who had long since abandoned any pretense of motherly care towards you. Her form bristles, and she purses her lips as she stares down at you. She tells you every Gahart family member has their skeletons, and these are yours to bury. She hands the drawing to you with unflinching features, statuesque in her demeanor, as she tells you in no uncertain terms to put it into the ground, to kill it, now. They watch little you. You watch your younger self, shaking like your very soul is desperate to burst from your flesh prison and escape into the ether, to go anywhere that isn't here and start anew. All those raw, incalculable emotions we are taught to bury through years of heartache, strife, and failure just bubbling beneath the surface. You clutch the drawing in your hands, and as hot tears stain its contents, it glows faintly, something stretching beyond the borders of its existence to break free from its bonds. It's slight, a murmur at absolute best, a prelude at absolute worst. Little you does not see it, but your parents do, as they watch you cast it into the fire. So you go back into the ground. The scene pulls away from you before the door slams in your face, and you are provided two pathways to walk down. Songs. Lies. You step towards the music and take the songs path, emerging from a tunnel and into a small circular room filled with jungle decor, a sea of exotic animals in various enclosures, enough rainforest sounds to deafen the outside world, and a cut-out mascot standing in front of you. Strange. He's wearing a beekeeper's outfit of all things. Bulky, ill-fitting, 3 digits on either glove, the face totally obscured by the mesh on the front where the face should be. Nearby, a sign says, Benny the beekeeper says, adventurers always inspect their environments before taking the plunge towards the cove. You ascertain he's a mascot of some sorts as you look around your new surroundings. Do you, option 1, look closely at the animal enclosures, or option 2, proceed down the trail? You decide now is as good a time as any to take stock of your surroundings and look at the bizarre animals, many of which seem to be taxidermy or animatronic from a distance. Along the left circular wall, you spy bright blue primates with scorpion tails, their eyes bulbous and yellow, chewing on something obscured from your view. On the opposite side, a reptilian humanoid standing on 2 hoofed feet, holding primitive tools and trying to impale something in the treetops of its enclosure. Thunder echoes in the enclosure, and the creatures stop moving. A silence grips the environment, and you realize you are gripped by it too. You look closer at the primates first, seeing they're chewing on something still writhing. An insect, perhaps? No. Something else. Something with a face. A face in absolute anguish, staring at you with beady little eyes before a sharp incisor punctures the soft flesh and tears it from your sight. Unsettled, you step to the other enclosure and see the reptilian humanoid is watching you, licking its lips as it sways rhythmically, positioning its sphere before launching into the brush. You don't see what it catches, but you hear the ear-splitting shrieks. They sound unlike anything you've ever heard before, each one punctuated by a great hunger. Do you? Option 1, inspect the tree. Or option 2, leave for the trail. Electing to leave this behind, you make a beeline for the trail and head down the dark tunnel, barely lit save for some guiding soft purple lights on the floor. Every now and then, a new iteration of Benny the Beekeeper pops up with a bit of advice. You walk and listen to each one, taking in the neon swirls and the fish tanks around you. Though, strangely, you see no fish.
Hey adventurers! Remember, a true adventurer always looks after their friends. They're like family. Adventure is for everyone! Did you know that there's more fish in the deep sea than anywhere else in the ocean? So many creatures in the dark depths we've never seen. I wonder what's out there. I'll stick to the bees. Speaking of bees, did you know that if you were to put all the planets in the solar system into one nation, it would be the spatial equivalents of 3 bees in all of Europe? Gosh, that sure is far, huh? Studies have shown that insects may actually experience pain. Think about that the next time you see one being eaten alive.
They continued on until you reached a clearing, one large tank drawing your attention, a strange light pulsating from within.
When we think of predators of the ocean, adventurers, none are more terrifying than that of the anglerfish. Using a lure on its head, it entices its victims in until...
The light blinds you, and once again, the sound of songs fills your ears. When you open your eyes, you are once more in the house of songs and lies. It's your study. A repurposed atrium your father allowed you to have when your burgeoning talents began to gain recognition. You are now 17, a budding artist, and each piece you produce is marveled by the wider community. You had heard of another in Lucinda, but yours was all that people talked about. You were putting the final touches on your latest piece when someone walked through the door. He's young, possibly the same age as you, possibly a bit older. His raven black hair tied into a messy bun, thin locks brushing down the side of his tanned skin and tucking just underneath his jawline. God, that jaw. You could trace the lines of his entire being if you had time.
You never stop working, do you, Bee?
His playful mocking tone echoes around the room and sends your brain into overdrive. But you keep your cool. You have to.
It's what I do, I guess.
You stammer, hands shaking as you try to focus and finish.
Not all that. Not all that I do, but right now fuck.
You feel a flush of red and you refuse to look him in the eye. You know you can't. You know what will happen. This is a snapshot of a deeper issue, and you feel as if you're intruding on your own privacy, bearing witness to your own car crash. But he is undeterred as he crosses the room full of your drafts and half-finished meals, placing a calm and heavily ringed hand on your shaking one, drawing your face into his and kissing you. You don't like watching this. You feel the burning shame of exposure, and you know what is coming. You want to find the door of lies, but it is nowhere in sight. You are a witness to your own misgivings, your own regrets, your lost loves. Just like everyone else, for a moment, you are ordinary. He breaks his embrace and looks at you, your mouth simply whispering his name.
Morgan,
I know, but I don't care. Dad'll have to deal with it. It's not the 50s. Why is this a big deal?
You bristle in your seat and try to find the words, but they don't come to you. Instead, you show him your latest work and let it do the speaking for you. It says more in 5 minutes than you could have done in 5 hours. It speaks to your agony, to your expectations, to the ruinous path you will both walk if you stay hand in hand. It says everything, and it is devastating. Morgan says nothing as he looks at you, deep ochre eyes meeting your own. Both so young, but you can see your everything within him. Infatuation or not, it is intoxicating to you. He accepts the path, and you do too. You kiss again. But your father storms into the room and in one motion throws Morgan off of you and volleys a right cross into your jaw.
I told you what would happen if you brought that degeneracy here! I can accept it for your artwork so long as the family's reputation increases, but this, I will never accept this!
He shakes a finger at Morgan, knuckles bloodied from the strike.
So help me, if your father wasn't his patron, I'd beat you within an inch of your goddamn life!
Morgan runs over to you, but is shoved away by your father, bashing his head on a coffee table. You don't see what happens next. You don't want to. Instead, you rip the pages from your book and make your way to the House of Lies. A slam against the window pane. Not a fish, but a hand. Something rots the very plexiglass itself as the lights flicker. Your pursuer is gaining on you. To your left, the tunnel connects to medieval madness. To the right, scientific spelunkers. Do you? Option 1, take the left path to medieval madness. Or, Option 2, take the right path to scientific spelunkers. In a flash and a pivot on your heel, you race towards the left tunnel. Your breath catching in your chest and producing a sharp sensation that runs through your abdomen and down your spine. You felt the looming fear of death in there. You know it. You don't stop to process. You know to fly, and fly you do. After a minute of running, you slow to a slight jaunt and see the tunnel open into a large field. The sky above red and the sound of medieval music piped into the dome-like building. Ahead of you stands a makeshift black castle, its gates half open and a small town propped up. The craftsmanship to be admired. This is the kingdom of Angleron, long since lost to time. It was presided over by a powerful ruling family. Then, in the midst of a holy war, there was a cataclysmic event and much of their culture was lost to time. It was from these ashes and refugees that Sturgeon, the great municipality, was born. You of course knew full well of the legend. Your grandfather had helped translate the latest edition of the play, covering these historical events. You used to love hearing it growing up. But the details seem lost to you now. Only one way forward. You walk through the lowering gates and into the castle proper, a grand courtroom filled with mosaic paintings of the largely embellished history of Angleron. The great warriors, tinkerers, soothsayers, and royal family litter every section of the walls in grand renditions of their deeds as you keep walking. Their tale, though tragic, is an important one for artists everywhere, for it is vital we never lose sight of the loyalty and love a parent can have for their children in this or any age. Your stomach contracts on those words as you spot a pair of large gilded doors behind the twin thrones, the title above the door bearing the name of the Crown Prince, Sovereign. Do you 1. Inspect the prince's chambers, or 2. Continue looking around for another way forward? You walk with determination towards the chambers and feel a sense of purpose with every stride you take. You know that every door you encounter has a chance of leading you back to the House of Songs and Lies. But on this occasion, you do not care. You must know what lies in the chamber. It feels personal to you. With shaking hands, you push the doors open and you walk inside. Inside, the chamber has been ransacked. It is crumbling away and the heavy rain and thunder from outside has infected almost every square inch of the room. Manuscripts are torn and flying around the sparse room. The bed is stained and destroyed. Nothing of love lives in this room anymore. It is a place made for suffering. In the center, you see a young man, withered and hunched over, feverishly creating something on a canvas. His clothes hang from him like the last threads of his own sanity. They are tired and fading. His passion, however, will not leave him, not when it is feasting so wonderfully on his anguish. With every deft movement of his hands, he creates something unique. He is, somewhere in his consciousness, aware he is birthing something that will outlive him, something that will be talked about, pontificated over, and discussed by elites, amateurs, and artists alike. He is creating a legacy from the deepest pits of grief. Someone stands in the opposite doorway, holding an umbrella and watching as he speaks into a phone.
Yes, I see him. He's no doubt making something remarkable that will only add to his legend and that of the brand itself. I estimate we can sell it for a minimum of 6 figures, 7 if it encapsulates the more grotesque aspects of what he's experiencing. Those troglodytes on the internet will love it. Smarmy little shits will lap up the falsified empathy it generates, project themselves onto it, and proliferate it amongst themselves. More degeneracy.
The lightning strikes and the wolfish grin of your father flashes for but a moment, before something truly human flickers across his face. Following his eyes, you see your younger self, now 22, finished with your work and utterly broken by it as you trace your bony fingers across its finished canvas, humming some listless tune between pain-racked sobs. You look back to your father, and, for just a moment, he looks like a father.
Carl, I think this may be the last one for a while. My boy needs treatment, and that grief isn't going to go away until he gets it. At this point, further exposure unabated will push him over the edge. No, don't worry. I know a good place. They're a new facility in town. I'll fill you in on the details later.
You remembered. You remembered being given this horrifying corner of the suburbs to work. You begged to see Morgan but were told he had been scared away by your father, found someone else and moved countries. You were devastated. Even more so when news of his accident reached you. If he asked for you, you weren't told. You were left to sit there and let the grief fester in you like a mold, growing through your spine and into your brain until it was what drove every facet of your life. You remember this piece, the hurt it caused. You remember burning it not long after you got home. But you know that home is elsewhere now as you walk to the House of Songs, stopping only when at the threshold to see the rest of the memory, where the thing inside the painting began to split from its prison and, while still screaming, tried to find meaning in this new world. Your younger self, driven mad by fear and grief, grabbed it and pushed it back into the canvas before it fell inert. Your father said nothing, but a mix of fascination and fear addled him. He knew what was coming. This was the night that your gift was truly born. You pass through the archway and now find yourself at the entrance to the final section. No more games. We know where this ends. The Golgothan Funhouse. You look up at the manor house. For so much of your life, this has felt like the entrance to the biggest monsters you knew. One that spat venom and one that held its tongue and looked the other way. Now, it feels like coming home. You don't even ask how the theme park recreated it so perfectly. You don't ask anything anymore. Instead, you steel yourself and begin the walk up the trail to the front door. You sense something behind you, a figure lumbering in the distance, not even running so much as hobbling. The flies follow them wherever they go, and you swear for a moment it's your tormentor from the woods. But no, something else comes into view as you reach the porch and wait for the doors to open. Torn suit, filth caking its legs, and the face visor damaged. The beekeeper. in the flesh. They shamble closer. You push on the door, but they do not give. Panic rips through you, but you can do nothing. There are no choices to be made, for what can someone do against something that defies choice itself? The beekeeper is close now. Very, very close. But they do not harm you. Instead, they hold up a single hand to your face. 3 fingers. 3. The doors burst open and you tumble through them, finding yourself in the large reception area with a pair of doorways on either side and the stairs leading upwards. The choices have stopped mattering, at least for now. This is fixed, though we wish it wasn't, as we do with many paths we walk in life. You know you have to go upstairs. You returned after a 5-year absence with minimal contact, completely cured and ready to start your job as an art curator, though you needed to move home for the time being. You felt what they drilled into you was normal, though you felt more like you were donning a human skin suit at times. Your parents seemed warmer than what you recalled, though that could be the medication or the therapy helping you see them favorably. Your younger brother Finley approved of your return, though he kept his nose in his books. Your youngest siblings, the twins, were elated to see you, having grown up considerably in your absence. They were toddlers when you first left, children when you were institutionalized. Now they were in their mid-teens and firmly within their own identities. You were shocked at how utterly carefree the house felt now, the presence itself less crushing. You hear the buzzing of the flies, but you ignore them as you follow younger you upstairs and towards the parlor where your parents have asked to speak to you. They close the door and relay to you some of the things they feel were mistakes. Your father, in particular, is immensely remorseful. His once powerful gait now diluted to a diminutive husk of a man. Still powerful, not decrepit, but softer. He is tearful as he explains his failings of raising you. That his own torrid issues within his marriage and the lack of freedoms led him to brutalize his firstborn. He explains, through croaks, that your mother is something called asexual, which, while leading to 3 beautiful children, did mean he was with her for convenience, nothing more. He stops short of discussing how you were born, but it catches in his chest. He steadies himself before continuing. 3. Your father said 3 beautiful children. This is the night they told you of your lineage, that your mother was not your mother, but someone else. She came into your father's life like a whirlwind and gave him everything his wife could not. Emotional security, safety, sexual liberation. From her, you were conceived. From her, you were taken. From her, your mother's resentment bore fruit. Your mother, upon this revelation, tears up too and says that though there was resentment, she always loved you and found your art beautiful. That your birth mother would be so proud of who you were now. That they never knew the facility would be so brutal. That they tried to get you out, but that there were so many loops to jump through. But they were reunited now, thanks to some deep reflection with the help of their 2 youngest children's own struggles. You remember the world growing numb at this point, hearing that your 2 baby siblings had identical issues to you and were not beaten for it, but instead coddled and praised. You almost glaze over the origins of your birth, a shockingly cavalier approach despite the maudlin tone of the conversation. Once again, the feeling of being overlooked washes over you. From the moment of conception to the moment of adulthood, you have always been cast aside, and only now do you get clemency and ask for forgiveness, now that the younger generation has entered the fray. They will never know the wounds you carry within you, for they have been spared the rod. Do you, 1, lash out at your family and prepare to burn everything you love to cinders? Or 2, accept with quiet humility, hone your therapy, and wait? No, you cannot lie here. Not now. You took a deep breath, ignoring the rot and the stench, and moved to the kitchen downstairs. As you did, You passed by some curios on display, a wood carving, a mini flesh-like door, a black orb. Strange, but not your focus at the present. You needed to escape the stench of what was chasing you. You head through the kitchen, trying not to focus on the rapidly shifting scenery around you, for you could swear that instead of a well-stocked pantry of pickles, meats, and fruits, you saw brains, intestines, faces, and jars. No, it was the adrenaline and the tests, that's all. Pushing on, you find the back door and pull hard, heading into the deep recesses of your backyard. You loved it here, spending hours as a child playing the adventurer you always wanted to be, hacking through the jungle to find the lost treasures of yore with your childhood best friend Morgan. Sometimes you'd pretend you were scaling that legendary mountain of Octan, looking for the last giant. Now, it was an overgrown mess caked with mud and weeds. You sifted through until you heard voices calling from the shed halfway down the property where Saunders lived.
But a word of advice, Phineas. The night can play tricks on your mind.
Do you, 1, peer into the windows, or 2, continue with the lie, be an adventurer? You peer in through the windows and see a terrifying creature of filth and decadence leaning over a small table at your brother, instructing him to watch over the chained coffins until the sun rises. You feel sick. Your eyes sting. You must press on. The music is becoming deafening, as is the buzzing. You look to the far corner, a sea of poorly attached stones, plywood and cardboard making the most miserable kingdom an adult could envisage, but any child could say with absolute certainty was the realm of kings and queens. You recall one summer where all of you played in the kingdom, recreating Angleron's events from your grandfather's papers. You always wanted to be the emperor, but you were frequently overruled. Your youngest sibling loved it the most. You don't know why you stopped playing, but one day, you woke up and didn't see the kingdom anymore. Its great spires, imposing structures and strange customs now just looked like nothing more than a child's paltry fantasy. You had changed, and with that change, the kingdom eroded before your eyes. You trudged through the rest of the underbrush, wondering how this place got so out of shape in your absence, before reaching the edge of the yard and stepping through the last set of neck-high weeds. On the border of another neighboring property, you see a young woman hopping over a rock wall on a phone call as she hurries back into the house.
The stars sure are bright tonight. I think it's time for another trip. Thank you for listening, Doctor.
She puts the phone down before rushing to her home, and you feel your feet carry you before your conscious mind can react. You must follow her. You sprint across the open fields, careful not to look at the sky for too long, though you can't understand why, before spying a slightly open window on the ground floor. The rain and thunder mask your approach as you peer inside and see a woman in deep distress. On the phone again. Your sister, Lucinda. She looks so fragile, so vulnerable.
It hasn't moved. It doesn't make a sound. Am I hallucinating? Am I just crazy?
Something in the room shifts, and though you don't see it, you hear it speak.
You told them, didn't you, Lucinda?
No, I didn't tell them everything.
This is why you can't be trusted.
I did as I was told.
This is why you have to stay here. This is why Minerva had to go away. Because you cannot keep your promise.
I kept my promise. I swear I kept my promise. Please don't be mad. It wasn't my fault.
The figure raises a hand as Lou pleads her case, and a bright light flashes before Lou rushes from the room, and you are pushed back from the window, landing flat on your face. Your phone begins to rumble. Do you, 1, answer it and face the consequences, or 2, continue to walk this path of ruinous lies? Bleary-eyed, you grab your phone and answer without saying anything. A gruff voice pierces your ear and stabs your brainstem with its information.
Good news and bad news. They found a body at your old home. Be ready. They'll be coming for you next.
And the good news?
You hear your raspy vocal cords wheeze out before the voice pauses, and you swear you can hear a smile.
Coleman was found asleep at the wheel, covered in her own filth and the blood of some passerby she hid. She's been committed to a facility. Early onset dementia caused by a tumor, they think. She won't be a problem. Time to get back to work, son. How long until we are ready to open the door?
Maybe a few more. The world is turning at such a pace. So many things. It's overwhelming.
Speaking of overwhelming, not sure if you know the details, but that incident at the clinic was regrettable. But we've sent Bancroft on paid leave and told the public that Faust took his own life in a death by misadventure. He was a perverse sort. They won't find it surprising once his browsing history is leaked.
The gruff man cackles. It's like sandpaper.
I have to go. I've got a symposium to attend to, and I'm making some special dish. I'll be in touch. You're doing the Lord's work, son. God go with you.
The phone line goes dead as you dust yourself off and find yourself in a hallway. Once more your family home, and with one final door to walk through. The final door to exit the House of Songs and Lies. You remember the brief events preceding this night. You caught the two of them talking about secrets. One professed that they were going to elope with their girlfriend when they turned 18. The other said they had a new name in mind. Lux, they chose. It felt foreign to your ears and brought tears to your eyes, but Lucinda loved it. They shared a moment before Lux hesitated and told them that they noticed they can do things. And before waiting for a response, you saw them. They manifested. Same as you, but far more power. How? You confronted your parents, demanded to know why they would accept their children for what they were, but not you. Why they would put their eldest out to pasture and torture him into being normal, but not them. Your father, again, apologized and tried to get you to see his side, even going as far as to mention Morgan. A mistake. You struck him, but he did not fight back. He called that penance and retired. You felt no shame. Your mother told you she would have plucked you from her very soul if she had not met your father, and you were perfect as you were. A pointless attempt at appeasing your ego. This woman did not birth you, did not conceive you. She held your mother back from you out of pure spite. As a result, her appeasement did not have the desired effect, and instead sought to irrevocably shatter your heart all the more. But you did not show it. You retired to your room. You waited. You planned. And you got to work. The sound of the song is rattling in your skull as you slowly walk to the lone door in the room, passing through and into a dead end with a set of funhouse mirrors stacked up against the wall. You know the end is in sight. You walk towards the central one, your figure being distorted into bizarre shapes with every step.
We don't need to play this game for much longer, do we? We have work to do. Divinity awaits us.
The rotting, bandaged husk of a man emerges from the right, shambling towards you.
How many times did trial and error fail you? How many rituals did you undertake? How many were saved versus converted into art? How long before consuming them was no different to consuming a meal? How long before we can go back to being normal? How long before consuming them was no different to consuming a meal? How long before we can go back to being normal?
You feel anger, indignation burn inside you as you keep walking.
I suppose it doesn't matter anymore. You see divinity in one, and so many are expendable, right? Because it is not within you. Only the art remains.
From the other side, a young artist, haggard in stature and matted hair, walks towards the center.
No, only the job remains. We will enact our judgments, and we will bring about divinity through locks. It is a matter of patience, and I have that in spades.
The three of you walk closer to the center of the room, towards the mirrors. Do you? Option 1. Finish this paltry facsimile of a game and exit the House of Songs and Lies? Or option 2. You snuck in, the night after their birthday, taking Lux with no resistance and bringing them to the sanctum. You knew what you had to do and you would see it through. The three of you come into full view as the mirrors warp, twist, and distort before merging into one cracked but complete mirror. This is you. This is Lucinda. This is Gael. This is Bennett Cochrane Gahart, the Ant Lion. There was only ever one ending, only ever one choice. This is the path you chose to walk. We just chronicled it. We all choose our own nightmares. It's simply a matter of how we choose to live within them. Most heartfelt greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlethems. I eagerly welcome you to Sturgeon's most premier station, Dusklight Radio, hosted by yours truly, the effervescent, ethereal, and immersive Everett J. Blackwell. This tale of tapes and cursing was written and performed by TJ Lee, with additional voices by Spirit Voices, and music provided by the Dark Somnium with gracious thanks. If you've enjoyed this story by TJ, consider checking out the Sturgeon Stories compilation to get more of that fix of the weird, the wonderful, the tragic, and the terrifying. And also consider checking out The Nightmare Detectives, an in-universe monster of the week chronicling of Sturgeon events, trauma bonding, absolute insanity, and anime-level fighting with some of TJ's closest friends and DM'd by TJ himself, featuring characters from the Sturgeon mythos. You can find The Nightmare Detectives on all podcasting platforms. Now, normally I'd go into my usual Blackwell spiel here, however, we're at the end of the video. If you've stuck around long enough, this is a sample of what our usual introductions to Dusklight transmissions are like. A link to one of our normal lengthy transmission videos is below. However, for the next 30 days as of December 15th, you will not be getting those introductions unless it is a special Sturgeon video, such as the next chapter in our ongoing series coming out before the new year. You see, we want to test out the algorithm to see how well YouTube responds to a regular series of posts. So we decided between myself and the wonderful Vidith to do a 30 in 30 challenge. 30 days, 30 videos, no days off, except for Christmas, which will make up on the schedule. At the end of that time, we'll look at our metrics, see how well it's responded, if any new listeners have come to the station, and we can then make an informed decision about how we want to progress. I can tell you right now, however, that as of Season 6, in 2026 for Dusklight Radio, we will be going to 3 videos a week, an SCP video on Mondays, and normal, no sleep or creepypasta story on Wednesdays, and on Fridays we'll be doing something special. Every single month, we'll be doing a compilation of our best stories from the month, and you'll also get a special feature-length Sturgeon or feature-length creepypasta story with immersive sound design, SFX, and voice acting. Very few things are going to be changing except the quality of our production. With that, I bring you to our outros, which are very important because this is the time where we thank all of our patrons for making this possible. If you want to sign up, it's as little as $1 a month and you get exclusive content, early access videos and stories, updates, and more. You can even suggest videos and stories for me to cover on the channel. But times are tough and we will always be grateful for your support no matter what form it comes in. Financial, spiritual, corporeal, maniacal, whatever you want. Either way, it really helps us out. And consider joining the Discord. We have a wonderful community at the listening station and we'd love to have you there. Dusklight gives thanks to, first, our Purple Crayon Eaters, Echo Kane, Gael Allstott, Alex, Mike, Candyman Gloving, Ashabel, Amara, Fi, Max, and Feeny Von Kama. Our janitors, Allie, Shane Lewis, Dux, Joy Flint Healy, Sabine Eclipse, Death 31, Scott, Heather Cayley, Adrian R., Amy, Arkham Cookie, and Alex Nunez. Our nightmare detectives, Deliria, Melanie Schaefer, and Fox Clifford. Our void walkers, Josh Woods and Professor Creepypasta. And of course, our Blackwell family. Great Uncle Ven Blackwell, who really seems to be hanging around the furnishings lately. I could swear that I've seen him trying to reanimate something from in the wallpaper. He keeps stroking it softly and saying, "Hush, little one, soon you can be free." Ethan Blackwell, the master of repo and infuriating the outer gods alongside his BFF, Jimmy. Jackal Blackwell, the scourge of gas station sushi outlets. Clue Blackwell, the twisting, shambling horror. Tabitha Blackwell, wearing a muscle tee with Kyo's face as a skull she smashed, declaring herself the Spine Queen. And of course, Papa Kyo Blackwell, preparing his greatest weapon, the Spine Lord, and his many, many legions of bone fragments. We love and fear you, Papa, and we thank you humbly for your patronage and look to see you bright and early for Dusklight orientation. Purple crayons and existential dread will be provided. And one last time, listeners, close your eyes and breathe with me. Remember, no matter how bad things are, how cruel people can be, and how heavy your shoulders may feel with the weight of the world bearing down on them, Dusklight will always be here to lift the load and provide you with some respite. Drink some hot cocoa with chocolate sprinkles and fat marshmallows. Have some s'mores. Watch a video about liminal spaces, and sleep on the cool side of the pillow with the window open and the stars twinkling down on you. Start and end each day with kindness in your heart. You matter, you are loved, and every day is another chance. I'll see you again when the sun sets and dusk enters the station.